I drove 12 hours straight to Sacramento for my granddaughter's wedding rehearsal dinner. My daughter Rebecca hadn't invited me. I showed up anyway. When I walked into the restaurant, Emma's face went pale. Her fiancé Tyler stood up, his smile never reaching his eyes. "Grandma Linda?" Emma's voice cracked. "What are you doing here?" "I'm here for you, sweetheart. I wouldn't miss your wedding for anything." Tyler put his arm around Emma's shoulders. "Mrs. Martinez, this is actually a private family event. Emma specifically asked that we keep it intimate." I looked at my granddaughter. "Emma, I'm your family." Rebecca appeared at my elbow, her grip tight on my arm. "Mom, we need to talk." Outside, in the parking lot, my daughter's face was stone. "You can't just show up uninvited." Emma made her wishes clear. "What wishes?" 3 months ago, she was calling me every day about wedding plans. Now I can't even get a text back? Things change, Mom. Tyler's family is very traditional. They think it's important that Emma establish boundaries with extended family before the wedding. Extended family? I'm her grandmother. I raised you. I helped raise her after David died. Rebecca's jaw tightened at the mention of her late husband. That's exactly the problem. You're too involved. Tyler says it's unhealthy. We need space to build our new family. Tyler says, "Becca, you've known this man for 4 months. Don't start, Mom." Emma's happy. That's all that matters. She glanced back at the restaurant. "I need to get back. Please, just go home. Can I at least talk to Emma? She doesn't want to see you right now. Respect that." I stood in that parking lot, watching my daughter walk away from me for the second time in my life. The first was when she married David against my wishes, 20 years ago. I'd been wrong then. I'd learned to trust her judgment. But this felt different. Still, I turned around and drove 12 hours back to Phoenix, because that's what you do when you love someone. You respect their choices, even when they break your heart. 2 weeks passed in silence. Then the envelope arrived. Inside was a property deed transfer form. My daughter's house, the one I'd helped her buy after David's death, needed to be signed over to Emma. As a wedding gift, there was a note in Rebecca's handwriting. "Please sign and return as soon as possible. Tyler's lawyer needs this before the ceremony." I called Rebecca. It went to voicemail. I called Emma. Blocked. I called my lawyer instead. "Linda, I strongly advise against this," Marcus Chen said. He'd handled David's estate, knew my family well. "This house is your daughter's primary asset. Why would she give it away before the marriage? The note says it's a wedding gift. Wedding gifts don't require immediate transfer. And why does the groom's lawyer need it?" He paused. "Linda, does Emma even know you helped purchase that house?" I hadn't thought about that. Rebecca and I had agreed not to tell Emma about my financial contribution. We wanted her to see it as her mother's achievement after David died, not charity from Grandma. "No, she doesn't know." "Then Tyler certainly doesn't know. Which means he thinks this is entirely your daughter's asset." Marcus's voice went cold. "What do you actually know about this man?" "Nothing. They met 4 months ago at some coffee shop. Emma said he was starting a tech company. Seemed successful. Give me 48 hours. Marcus called back in 24. "Linda, you need to sit down for this." His voice had that careful tone lawyers use when delivering bad news. "Tyler Morrison doesn't exist. Not legally, anyway. No business licenses, no tax returns, no credit history before 6 months ago." My hands went numb. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying your granddaughter is about to marry a ghost. I contacted a private investigator I trust. We're going deeper. But Linda, this doesn't look good." "How much deeper can you go?" "Depends. How much do you love your granddaughter?" "Everything. She's everything." "Then I need you to trust me. And I need you to not contact Rebecca or Emma. Can you do that?" 3 days later, I sat in Marcus's office across from a woman who looked like she'd seen too much. Detective Sarah Chen, Marcus's sister. "Mrs. Martinez, I'm going to show you some photographs. I need you to stay calm." She slid the first photo across the desk. Tyler Morrison, arm around a blonde woman in a wedding dress. Different woman, different wedding. "This is Madison Cooper. She married Tyler Morrison in Portland 18 months ago. 3 months later, her mother's house was sold. Madison disappeared. Tyler claimed she ran off with another man." Another photo. Tyler with a brunette, kissing at what looked like an engagement party. Vanessa Price married Tyler in Seattle 2 years ago. Her widowed father signed over his business to her as a wedding gift. 6 months later, the father died in a car accident. Vanessa vanished. Tyler collected the life insurance. My coffee cup slipped from my hands. Sarah kept going. Jennifer Hartley married Tyler 3 years ago in Denver. Her grandmother transferred her entire estate to Jennifer before the wedding. Grandmother had a fatal fall down the stairs 2 weeks after the ceremony. Jennifer was never seen again. 4 more photos, 4 more women, 4 more families destroyed. The pattern is always the same. Young woman, early 20s, from a family with assets, usually single mother or widowed parent. Tyler sweeps in, fast romance, pushes for quick marriage, convinces the girl to get family assets transferred before the wedding. Then someone dies, someone disappears, and Tyler walks away with everything. I couldn't breathe. Where are the bodies? We don't have bodies. That's the problem. Officially, these women are missing persons. The deaths look like accidents. There's never enough evidence for prosecution. But Emma, my Becca, is next. The pattern fits perfectly. Young granddaughter, widowed mother still grieving, grandmother with means. He's isolated Emma from you, turned your daughter against you. Once that house transfers, I believe he'll stage something, make it look like Rebecca had an accident. Emma will be devastated, vulnerable. He'll have complete control. Marcus leaned forward. Linda, we contacted the FBI. They've been tracking someone they call the bridegroom for 5 years. They believe it's Tyler, but they've never had enough evidence. His real name is probably Jason Reed, but they can't prove it. He's careful, very careful. Then what do? Sarah's eyes were steel. We catch him. But we need your help, and we need Emma's cooperation, which means she has to know the truth. She won't believe it coming from us. It has to come from someone she trusts. She doesn't trust me anymore. Then we make her trust you again. Sarah pulled out another folder. There's something else. Something that might help. Emma went to a clinic 3 weeks ago. She's pregnant. My heart stopped. Tyler's? That's the thing. The timeline doesn't match. She would have gotten pregnant before she met Tyler. We think there might be an ex-boyfriend. Marcus added, if we can prove Tyler isn't the father, it might break his hold on her. Sociopaths like this need control. A baby that isn't his ruins the entire plan. What do you need me to do? The plan was simple. Simple and terrifying. I was to sign the house transfer papers, bring them to the wedding, act like everything was fine, wear a wire, get Tyler to talk, get him to reveal his real plan. He'll be confident, Sarah explained. Once he thinks he's won, he'll let his guard down. Men like this, they love to gloat. The wedding was at a vineyard in Napa Valley. I wasn't invited, obviously, but I'd received a last-minute text from Rebecca. Changed my mind. You should be here. Bring the signed papers. Tyler's work, no doubt. He wanted to make sure that deed transfer happened. I wore my best dress, wore the wire Sarah had given me, signed the papers with shaking hands. The ceremony was beautiful. Emma looked radiant in her grandmother's wedding dress. The one my mother wore, the one I wore, the one Rebecca wore when she married David. Seeing it on Emma made my chest tight. Tyler looked like every mother's dream. Handsome, confident, saying all the right words about forever and commitment and family. I wanted to scream. The reception was at the vineyard's main hall. I found Rebecca by the champagne fountain. Mom, you came. Of course I came. I handed her the envelope, the papers you asked for. Her face sagged with relief. Thank you. I know you didn't understand, but this means everything to Emma. Can I ask you something? Why does Tyler's lawyer need this before the marriage is finalized? It's some tax thing. Tyler explained it, but honestly, I didn't follow all the legal jargon. Something about gift exemptions. Becca, when did you decide to give Emma the house? Tyler suggested it a few weeks ago. He said it would be a beautiful gesture, help them start their life together. And honestly, Mom, Emma deserves it. She's been so responsible, so mature about everything. Did Emma ask for it? Rebecca frowned. No, but she was thrilled when I offered. Why are you asking these questions? Because I need you to trust me one more time. I took her hand. Come with me, please. I led her to a private room where Sarah and Marcus were waiting. Rebecca's face went white when she saw them. Mom, what is this? This is me saving my family. Sarah showed her the photos. All of them. Rebecca's hands shook as she went through each one. Madison, Vanessa, Jennifer, all the others, all the dead families. No, this is. Emma loves him. He loves her. He doesn't love anyone, I said. He's a predator, and we're his targets. Where's Emma? Marcus asked. We need to talk to her before Tyler gets suspicious. Rebecca was crying now. She's in the bridal suite. Oh God, my baby. We found Emma touching up her makeup, glowing with happiness. That glow died when she saw her mother's tears. Mom? What's wrong? Sweetheart, I need you to listen very carefully. Rebecca's voice broke. Tyler isn't who he says he is. What followed was the hardest conversation of my life. Emma screamed, cried, refused to believe, called us liars, said we were jealous, controlling, trying to ruin her happiness. Then Sarah showed her Madison's photo, and Emma's face changed. I've seen her. What? Sarah leaned forward. This girl. I've seen her picture. Tyler has a photo in his wallet, says it's his sister who died in a car accident. Emma's voice went hollow. He cried when he showed me, said that's why family is so important to him. The room went silent. Emma, I said gently, there's something else. The baby you're carrying. Tyler isn't the father, is he? Her face crumpled. How did you know? It's okay, sweetheart. Just tell us the truth. I got pregnant before I met Tyler. My ex-boyfriend, Devin, we broke up, and I didn't know what to do. Then Tyler came along, and he was so perfect, and he said he'd love the baby like his own, and I thought. She sobbed. I thought I was so lucky. He knew, Sarah said. He knew you were pregnant and vulnerable. That's why he chose you. But he loves me, he said. Emma, listen to me. I knelt in front of her. I know you think I'm just a bitter old woman who doesn't understand, but I've lived long enough to recognize a hunter when I see one. Tyler hunted you. He studied your family. He knew exactly what buttons to push. The house transfer, Rebecca whispered. Once he has that, once the wedding is legal, we'll have an accident, I finished. Rebecca first, probably. Make Emma a widow with a baby on the way. Then, when she's grief-stricken and dependent on him, he'll take everything and vanish. Maybe kill you too, Emma. Maybe just leave you destroyed. Emma looked at the photos again. Really looked, these women. They all look like me. He has a type, Sarah confirmed. Young, trusting, from families with assets to plunder. Your grandmother's money, your mother's house, your vulnerability, you're exactly what he looks for. I'm going to be sick. Rebecca held her while she vomited. When Emma finally looked up, her eyes had changed. The innocence was gone. What do we do? Sarah smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. We give him exactly what he wants. Then we take him down. The plan was insane. Emma would go through with the wedding. Act normal. At the reception, she'd lead Tyler to a private area where Sarah's team could record him. I would present the deed transfer. We needed him to say something incriminating. He won't confess, Emma said. He's too smart. Men like Tyler have one weakness, I told her. Their ego. They can't resist explaining how clever they are. We just need to make him feel like he's won. Emma walked back down that aisle on shaking legs, said her vows with Tyler's ring sliding onto her finger. I watched my granddaughter marry a monster, knowing it was temporary, praying we were right. At the reception, I found Tyler by the bar. May I have a word with my new grandson-in-law? His smile was pure charm. Of course, Grandma Linda. I'm so glad you could make it. We walked to a quiet corner. Sarah's team had cameras everywhere. I brought the deed transfer papers. Signed and notarized, just like you asked. His eyes lit up. That's wonderful. Emma will be so touched. I'm sure she will. Tell me, Tyler, what are your plans for the house? Oh, we'll live there, of course. Start our family. Build our future. Interesting. Because the house is actually in Rebecca's name, not Emma's. So even after the transfer, Rebecca would still have legal rights. A flicker of something crossed his face. Well, naturally, we'd work that out. Family is complicated, especially when family members have accidents. He went very still. Excuse me? I did some research, Tyler. Or should I call you Jason? I found it fascinating how many of your previous wives had family members who died in tragic accidents. Madison's mother, Vanessa's father, Jennifer's grandmother. All so unfortunate. His smile never wavered, but his eyes went dead. I don't know what you're talking about, Mrs. Martinez. I think you've been watching too many crime shows. Have I? Because I also found it interesting that all those women vanished after their family assets were transferred, and you were always there to collect the insurance money. You're making wild accusations. Am I? Because the FBI doesn't think so. They've been tracking the bridegroom for years. They think it's you, Jason. They just needed proof. He grabbed my arm, grip bruising. You senile old bitch. You have no idea what your time. Actually, she has every idea. Tyler spun around. Sarah stood there with 3 FBI agents. Emma was beside them, tears streaming down her face. Jason Edward Reed, you're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy to commit murder, and 7 counts of suspicion of homicide. Tyler's mask finally cracked. He lunged for Emma. You stupid little girl. Do you have any idea what you've done? That baby you're carrying? I was going to raise it like my own. We could have had everything. The baby isn't yours, Emma said quietly. It never was. And I'm not stupid. I'm my grandmother's granddaughter. The FBI led him away, still screaming threats. The wedding guests stood frozen, champagne glasses halfway to their lips, trying to process what just happened. Rebecca found me in the chaos. Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't believe you. I let him turn me against you. You were protecting your daughter. That's what mothers do. You saved us. If you hadn't kept pushing, if you just accepted being pushed out. I'm a stubborn old woman. It's my best quality. Emma joined us, still in her wedding dress. Grandma, I need to tell you something. About the baby. You don't have to. I want to. Devin was my boyfriend for 2 years. We broke up because I wasn't ready for marriage. Then I found out I was pregnant, and I panicked. Tyler seemed like the perfect solution. But the truth is, Devin is a good man. He deserves to know. And this baby deserves a father who actually loves them. Then you should call him. I will. But first, I need to ask you something. Would you still help me raise this baby? Even though I almost got you killed? Even though I said terrible things to you? I pulled my granddaughter close. Emma, I drove 12 hours to a wedding I wasn't invited to. You think I'm going to miss being a great-grandmother? 6 months later, I held my great-grandson in the hospital. Emma named him David, after her father. Devin was there, terrified and proud, holding Emma's hand. Rebecca stood beside me, watching her daughter become a mother. He looks like Dad. He does. Mom, I've been thinking. The house. I want to put it in a trust for David, not for Emma or Devin, just for my grandson, so no one can ever take it from him. I think that's a wonderful idea. Tyler, or Jason, or whatever his real name was, went to trial. The FBI found evidence linking him to 4 murders and 7 disappearances. Madison's body was found in Oregon, Vanessa's in Washington. The others were still missing, but they had enough to put him away for life. Emma testified. So did I. So did the families of all his other victims. When the verdict came in, guilty on all counts, Rebecca squeezed my hand. Justice for all of them. Justice, I agreed. But also, family. That's what saves us in the end. Emma brings David to visit every Sunday. Devin comes too. He's a good father, attentive and kind. They're taking it slow, figuring out how to be parents before they figure out how to be partners again. Rebecca and I have dinner every Tuesday. We're rebuilding what Tyler tried to destroy. And me? I'm just a grandmother who trusted her instincts, who refused to be pushed out of her family's life, who drove 12 hours to a wedding she wasn't invited to and helped put a serial killer behind bars. Some people say I should write a book. Maybe I will. I'll call it The Bridegroom's Last Wedding, because sometimes the best revenge is just being the stubborn old woman who won't give up on her family. Where are you watching from today? I hope wherever you are, you're surrounded by people who love you. And if you're not, if someone's trying to push you out, to isolate you from the people you love, trust your instincts. Be stubborn. Be brave. Be the grandmother who drives 12 hours uninvited. Sometimes, That's what saves lives.